Hello to those that are watching. I wanted to do a very brief intro to kind of let you guys look at the crystals a little bit, and also give a rundown about what I'm going to be talking about in the reading. So obviously, like the title is what your heart's longing for, but more specifically I'm going to be going through the career, like your career, personal life / home life / self-care. And then in the third, I'll be doing your passions / hobbies. So I've got 1 and 1 because I usually do like a clarifier, and then the same going onwards. And then at the end, I have like oracle that I've already shuffled and picked out for each pile. So I'll be going through those and getting some clarifiers for like how you can achieve what your heart is longing for, and also some signs and synchronicities. I kind of just let what comes out come out, so that, you know, it just kind of is more personalized to the pile. Take what resonates for sure and leave what doesn't. Sometimes a whole reading doesn't resonate, but there's a message in there for you, so it just completely depends. But yeah, without further ado, alright, so if you chose pile 1 or the moss agate heart, then this could be for you. So moss agate could be significant for you, or even just stones that are shaped into hearts. That's kind of what I picked out for this reading. Actually, I might put that right up here if it wants to stay. So like I said, it's kind of briefed out in the intro, but I'll be going over what your heart's longing for in career, personal life, self-care, and then also your hobbies and passions. So I'm just going to start shuffling now. It might be a little bit loud, so I apologize. You can also skip this part if you would like. Sometimes things do come out, but it just depends. Game of Thrones could be significant. Alright. So then we'll be going over career in these first two. Oh, it's too much. Maybe there's a lot that needs to be gone over. I'm feeling something too, like maybe like a person that's longing for more in their life. Could be the vibe that you're feeling right now. Maybe you don't know what to achieve or how to achieve what you want to achieve. Knave of Cups, and then we'll get a clarifier for that. Clarified by the Sun, or the empty space. Alright, so I feel like in career, and this is what I'm just getting like intuitively, I feel like there's someone like over, like I'm seeing someone over your shoulder, like making sure that you're doing what you're meant to be doing. Maybe you feel like you have a lot of eyes on you as well. You could do a job where there's a lot of writing, because she is writing there. Maybe you could do journaling as well, just like in your free time. But I'm getting a strong feeling that there's just someone over, like she looks like she doesn't want to be in that situation. It feels very confining, and I feel like maybe your heart wants to grow bigger than that. I'm gonna move these up too so they're better. You can see them better. But yeah, I'm definitely getting like anxiety from this card. Maybe it's been like a cycle and it's getting old. And then we've got that clarified by the empty space, which is funny because it could be like a person in power that's above you. That's pretty, I mean, you can kind of see it in the card, like it's very like demanding in a way. And it's almost like this person here is trying to escape. So maybe it could be that in your workplace, you're being maybe harassed in a way. And you're kind of trying to get away from that, but you don't really know how. But that should clarify when we get to the oracle cards, like I said, and like when I was showing the outline for it. maybe emotions too, because this kind of reminds me of like emotions like stirred up. Maybe you never know what you're going to get from this person, like the person that's above you in your workplace. That could be a thing too. And then there's an island kind of thing here, so maybe you're just trying to find your island, but it almost feels like it's not, you're not able to find it. But sometimes the right opportunities come out exactly when they're meant to. So the next two I'm gonna get is what your heart's longing for in your personal life or self-care. Spirals too. Maybe you want something that's like deeper. I'll take both of these. Something that maybe what you're doing right now feels robotic, and you're wanting something that has more depth to it, more emotion, more questioning. So we've got those two clarified by the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is definitely a different depiction than what it usually is. Usually I see like the Six of Wands as like a victory card. But here, like this person is very confined. But I'll go over these ones here first. So the Six of Pentacles reverse. So definitely I feel like you're not evenly giving to yourself enough. We get the Five of Wands in reversed. I kind of want to see what this is like in the scene. Yeah, I definitely feel like there needs to be more balance when it comes to giving to yourself. Maybe you're very much like a giver. That could be like your love language, even with like friends or family or anything. So I feel like definitely there's a big need to kind of give back to yourself. There could have been one instance as well where this all started. Like maybe there was a person in your life that kind of triggered this within you to kind of, I guess, give more to other people than get for yourself. Like maybe your expectations were kind of damaged by this person. And the Five of Wands reverse makes me think that you don't want any conflict. Like especially when you come home at the end of the day or you finish work. Like I feel like when you get home, there's like a big need to want to like rest. Like you don't want to come home to anything that is going to stress you out. Cleaning could be a big thing for you. Maybe you just like to come home and just be like complete peace. I feel like too with this clarified, but I feel like you're doing good at that. I feel like you're trying your best to kind of, if there's any conflict where you go home to, it could be that you're trying your best to kind of get rid of that and leave it behind. And then with the Six of Wands too, maybe you're kind of stepping, like maybe in a transitional period between this, where you're not giving to yourself and kind of taking the reins and starting to stick up for yourself no matter what. Even if somebody's in your ear telling you what you need to be doing or what they deserve, sometimes you need to focus on yourself and take a hold of what you deserve and what you know you deserve. All right. So then we're gonna get into your passions and hobbies. So what your heart is longing for, and that. The Fool. Which kind of makes sense when you look at like your work life. Maybe you're wanting to take a leap of faith when it comes to your passions and your hobbies. It could be musical, or you could just really jive with music. But I feel like there's a really big, I'm just gonna put this on the, I'm kind of losing my focus here. or focusing on too many things, I should say. Yeah, I feel like too, like maybe, like I was saying, like there's no emotion where you're at right now, and you want to bring more of that emotion into like your career. So I think that that has to do with your hobbies or what you're passionate about. I think you want to try and make that into your career, but I also see like the Two of Swords in reverse, which usually is about like being blindfolded, not knowing where to go. But it's in the reverse. So maybe as of lately, you've been getting signs as to where you should be going and what direction that you want to go in. And I think that that correlates with the Fool. And then at the back, we've got the Hermit, which is like kind of the overall energy. But the Hermit is interesting because it makes me think of someone that kind of stays in confinement in their own space. And then when they're ready to go out after having like done what they needed to done or learn what they needed to, like they blossom and they just create, like I was gonna say create a spark, and there's even a fire there. So like you could be in the Hermit energy right now, but it feels like you're going to kind of, I see like a burst, like you're going to burst out of that and kind of, I think, take a hold of your life. Because I feel like for so long, whether it came down to your personal life or your career, it feels like there was always something kind of controlling you. And I think that's something you just gotta leave behind, and you just gotta take that chance. It could have to do with your voice too, maybe, and there's like even colors through here, so it could be like auras. It reminds you of like the Borealis. I'm really bad at pronouncing that, but it reminds me of that. And I just feel like if you use your voice in some way, it could be that that's kind of telling you, like it's a sign that you need to use your voice, and that it will be perceived well, because there's people dancing in here too. So maybe there's something that you do that is very freeing for people, or that kind of lifts their spirits, if that resonates. All right, so now I'm gonna get into the Oracle. I'm just gonna pull that out from under here. I kind of want to look at the time too. All right. So the first one's gonna be a song lyric. So I'm just gonna, okay, that's kind of cool. That's gonna give me chills. So the song lyric is, "We've come too far to give up who we are." And that is Get Lucky by Daft Punk. So that could be just a significant song. Maybe it's one that you've been listening to lately. But also the lyrics are kind of similar. Like you've gone through too much to give up what you wanted or who you are, or what you know that you deserve. It's not worth just saving face, like to get by. You know what you've wanted and you know what needs to be done. And I think it's just, this is a very popular thing that's been going on right now, where it's like everybody's just ready to leave that old stagnant stuff in the past and just do what makes them happy, because life is too short. We're never promised tomorrow. So it's better to just do what you love. That's cool though. I like that. So we've got, I'm just gonna put that back here. I don't think it's in frame, but that's okay. I honor virtue. And I did kind of read about this card before. I'll get into that in a second. Break addiction. Then we've got Capricorn, the negative traits. Boogeyman. So it's Halloween. Okay, so I'll go over these four first, and then I'll get into the rest of these. So this card, when I read about it, was all about like the towers of virtue. And in the card itself, it seems like this person is very dissatisfied. It could feel like too, and this has a lot to do with like a spiritual journey, it could feel like maybe you are kind of lost right now, or you're kind of looking away from your spiritual path, or maybe like you feel like because you are a certain way or because you do certain things that doesn't make you spiritual. But the truth of the matter is, and I have to tell myself this a lot too, is that we're all human and we're all here to learn different things and break different cycles and stuff like that. So you can always get back to the path that you were on, or even if you feel like you've been losing certain information, like you can always come back to it. You can always relearn it. Like there's nothing that is truly ever lost because it's right behind you there. You can kind of see. And then we have break addiction too, which this card is very definitely rich in its portrayal of this, because you can tell this person is just like beaten down. And I think that you're just ready to leave this aspect of you behind and break whatever was holding you down and become this kind of phoenix bursting out. And there's a window there too. I feel like even if it feels like you're confined, there is a way out. There's always a way. Whether it takes time or what, but a person can't live like this for the rest of their life. Like they're already on the ground. Like you can tell there's no way that this person, if they stayed in their addictions and their cycles, they just couldn't get by. Like it will ruin them. So it's time to just break out of that and become who you know you're meant to be. Which is easier said than done, but I think that you're already getting to the point where you're like, I'm over this. Like I just want to start new and do what I love. So we get the Capricorn. So Capricorn kind of came out twice here, because in the back we've got like I guess it would be like a ram or a goat. Maybe that could be significant for you. But the negative traits for Capricorn came out, and so that's materialistic, pessimistic, ruthless, rigid, and arrogant. Now, I don't know if it's per se, maybe you could notice those things about yourself, or maybe those are things that you feel like you need to work on, or that you do need to work on. But where Capricorn came out in its own, it makes me think, whenever I think of Capricorn, I just think of like leaders. Leaders when it comes to like business. Like I find like Leos are natural leaders, like whether it comes to their friendships or their home life or whatever, like they're naturally just like that. But Capricorn, it's kind of more in like an earthy kind of in your, like when we talk about like the pentacles, like when it comes to your job, when it comes to anything that's more grounded, like they're usually a leader in that. So that makes me think that if there's something that worries you about like money, or about like maybe if it comes to like starting a business or getting money from what you love to do, I feel like that'll go well, because this Capricorn energy is kind of showing me that you can do that. You could have Capricorn in your chart as well. And it's interesting too in this oracle card that he's behind her. And then there's these three people over here watching too. You could feel alone in this journey too. It could have to do with family. I said workplace. I mean, it's a general reading, so you never know. It could come from two places. Like it could be someone in your workplace, but it could be someone from your home. But this person is over her shoulder again, which was kind of what I saw when it came to the career. And it's almost like intimidating. Like you don't really know what to do. It just makes me think like I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. There probably is a lot of fear surrounding this. And the boogeyman too, it's called. Which makes me think though, because usually they say like, you know, the boogeyman isn't real. So it's like maybe his strength is just something that you perceive, and yes, it could be there as well. But I feel like too, you know, there's always kind of things that we can exaggerate in our heads to kind of keep us stuck. But I feel like you are just a very powerful individual as well, even if you've been beaten down to where you're like exhausted or you're scared. I think that you're still a very powerful person and you have the ability to overcome what's holding you back here. All right, let me get the rest of these. Struggling to hold back feelings. Yeah. Moon opposite Mars too. I just feel like it's like you've been holding on for so long, and it's like at some point you feel like you just need to like burst out before it becomes that your emotions take over. So I feel like if you don't do this thing that you're passionate about, your emotions will take over, maybe for the worse. It could just be destroying you mentally too, as well. Balance. Planning, making decisions, and taking risks and time. That's interesting. So taking risks when it comes to your career. Maybe you feel like time is running out. I don't think that, I feel like I've been feeling that a lot too, like that I have to put a timing on myself, but it's not the truth. Like you almost just, you need to let it go and do what you can when you can, and don't force yourself, because then you might not end up liking what you do. Sometimes you do have to force yourself a little bit, especially if you get in the habit of like repeating and doing the same things over and over. But definitely you can see like I feel like you're just like, it's like almost like I'm seeing like a loading bar. So I think you're almost to this point here. Like I think that this is all just leading up to the grand finale, I want to say. And I think that when you do take this leap, it's going to be beautiful, and it might be scary at first, but I think you can make it for sure. And then balance too, I didn't really go over that, but in the context here, I feel like it comes to like being able to balance like different aspects of your life so that you can do this. Maybe there are other things. I feel like there's a multitude of things that are kind of holding you back, and you're trying to find out how to balance that before you can truly delve into what it is that you want to do. And these flowers here are very pretty too. They could be significant. What are those flowers called? They're the ones with like because these have like the little things coming out. They're the ones that like kind of go out like this, and then they've got the little, I can't, I wish I could draw it for you, but it's like got the 4 leaves, and then it's got the little things. Maybe if I show this closer you can see. It's kind of got them coming out here. I'm seeing too, like kind of between these two cards, when something dies and decomposes, and this might be a little bit what's the word for it? I'm losing it here. When things die and decompose like into the earth, flowers usually grow from it. So it's just showing that things that you leave in the past and leave to go to die, like to die out of your life, beautiful things can come from that. It's not always negative, I guess. And then we've got touch. So this makes me think too that what you're doing could have to do with your hands. There are cards that represent the senses here, because there's magic all around, like stars and stuff all around this person's hand. And there's also an eye here too. And then roots as well. And flowers again. Flowers could be really significant for you right now. But I feel like there's a lot of beautiful things that can come from you using your hands to create what it is that you want to do. Even her hand is what's holding the phoenix. So it's kind of like your hand is the key to what needs to be done or what needs to be changed or what you want to do. And I feel like the roots are just symbolism that, like, it's always been within you. It's something that you'll never lose too, like when it comes back to this card. I feel like there could be fear around losing certain aspects of yourself, and I feel like this is just confirmation that you aren't, and that your abilities will always be there. And there's a lot of growth from here as well, like abundance as well. Roots are very earthy as well too. I just think that you're going to succeed with what it is that you do. And then inner nemesis. So this makes me, and there's snakes here too, which can be all about like shedding your skin, rebirth, transformation. And those are kind of over the eye. That's kind of like longing for more. So I think that maybe your inner demons are one of your biggest setbacks sometimes, and feeling trapped too around these people. I feel like you've got a lot of things going on, like when it comes to like, how do I say this? It's like when you feel like you're over the things that are going on in your personal life or in your self-care regimen, that when it feels like that is fine and that you can deal with that and then go on to doing what you love, it feels like there's something else that comes up, whether it's like self-doubt or sometimes just feeling like you're not good enough. I feel like these snakes are just over you to say, we're done with that. Like, you know, it's time. It's just time. And I feel like that's what it comes down to, is like, you feel within you that it is time to get rid of all of this negativity and just do what it is that makes you happy instead of worrying about everybody else. And that's pretty beautiful. I think that the outcome will be very good as well. And again, I feel like showing this too. We've come too far to give up who we are. I think that's very true. We all have doubts. It's true. But definitely, I think that you need to do this not only for yourself, but for other people as well. Because I feel like there are people out there that need what it is that you want to do in the world. So yeah. I think that this will all work out for you perfectly, and I wish you the best of luck. Alright, so if you chose pile 2 or the clear quartz with, I guess it's kind of like an agate druzy in it, then this could be for you. I'm just going to throw this up there. This is one of the like brightest decks that I have. I got this one recently and I really love it. But I find like the imagery and the colors are just so bright and happy. So you could be a very like glass half full person. So the way that I described it, if you didn't watch the intro, is just I'll be going through career, personal life, home life, self-care, and then I'll also be going through like your passions and hobbies. So it'll be what your heart's longing for in those areas. I'm just going to get into shuffling. You can skip this if you want. Sometimes things come out, but not always. Japanese culture could be very significant to you as well. Maybe you've always wanted to travel there. Maybe it's just something that's always fascinated you. Alright, so in your career, 10 of Wands in reverse, and then I'll clarify that. And then the 9 of Swords in reversed. Alright, so in your career, it could be that your heart's longing for not having to do as much. Maybe you're a person that faces burnout quite easily. It could be that you feel like you have a lot of burdens on your back that you're trying to release. The person in the card seems very uneasy as well. And I'm kind of seeing like a broken heart here as well. So it could be that it doesn't really bring a lot of, excuse me, peace and happiness into your life. I just feel too like there's just unease in that person's like face. For sure. There's also like, it looks like it could be cherry blossoms flying through here. I can't really tell. But yeah. I'm hearing breaking tradition too. I feel like that's a very common theme with a lot of people lately, just wanting to break like traditional norms for what a career should look like. So then to clarify that, we've got the 9 of Swords in reverse. So maybe it could be that you need to talk to someone about this, or maybe you're trying to stop to like, I feel like maybe you could be the type of person that will sit and ruminate. And I'm kind of seeing something specific where like when I used to work a really like fast-paced job, I would go to fall asleep, and I know it sounds funny, but I would be plagued with like just, it was like I was at work being asked to do tasks. So maybe that's something that's happened to you where you're about to fall asleep and it feels like you're in work, because that stress is kind of like, I'm seeing like it's flowing into your like day-to-day life. Maybe you feel like you can't get a break from it. It could be too, maybe you feel alone. This might be for some people, but for some people not. It could be that you moved to another city and you don't really know many people yet. So you're trying to find comfort in that and find comfort in like your day-to-day life and going to work and stuff. I feel like you're trying to release this though, because it is in the reverse. So even if it was that this was happening to you before, I think that you're ready to kind of start anew. Maybe there's someone in your life who was trying to tell you ways that you can get away from this. Or maybe as well, it could be, I feel like there's a few different ways that this could go, or maybe they could all apply to you. Maybe it's that you were telling this person about the troubles that you're having, where when you go to sleep, like the stress just comes into your life. Maybe you felt invalidated about that. Maybe you felt like maybe it was kind of silly, because even I said it before. Like, I was like, it's kind of silly, but I've had this happen to me before. Maybe you're talking about your experiences and you feel like they aren't valid, but this person is telling you that it is very valid, especially when you work in a workplace where you're just always kind of on edge or uneasy. And in the Oracle too, it will kind of give more advice as well into that. So let's get into like your personal life here. What your heart's longing for. So the High Priestess reverse. Oh, I don't know if it wants to. Okay, yeah. And then the Page of Cups reversed. Maybe you feel like your emotions are very blocked, or like your feminine energy is very blocked right now. And this could have to do with your career as well. So maybe it is that like you feel like you're not as intuitive right now, or you feel like you're not very emotional, or it's like, I kind of mentioned this in the last reading too, but maybe you feel just kind of like robotic because of what's happening here. And maybe you want to get back into that more emotional side of you. I've definitely had that happen before. It kind of builds up too in a way. Like sometimes like you'll just be going and going and going, and it's the same stuff, different day. And then eventually like it just all pours out at once, and it's like, it's hard. Maybe watching like a movie that makes you sad, or sometimes just to get it out. Like I know some people don't believe in catharsis, but I definitely really do, and I think it's worth a try as well. Yeah, I think you're very like a naturally perceptive person, but I think that this is just very like, it's kind of pushing, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. It's almost pushing you away from that side of yourself. Yeah. Any like childlike joy as well. Maybe this is all new to you. Like you could be younger. It just depends on the circumstance, or just maybe your inner child needs nurturing. Maybe you need to do something that makes your inner child happy. Maybe it'll show us in like the passions and hobbies. Let's see what comes out. Ooh. Okay, 2 came out. I'll take them. Okay, let's clarify. 6 of Wands. And then at the back, we've got the 5 of Cups reversed. Let's put that up here. Hopefully that's in sight. I'm not too sure. All right. So we've got the 2 of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like you're very confident about what it is that you're passionate about. So I feel like maybe for the longest time you struggled with figuring out what was truly like your hobby, like your thing, like what people associate you with. Maybe that was something that you kind of had a hard time balancing. But now I feel like you're just coming in strong with this like one thing. So I feel like maybe you've been really like adamant and working on what it is that you are passionate about right now, like your hobbies. I just see this person who is like dead set on doing what they want to do and not stopping. Like the fire on the wheels too just makes me, it reminds me of like the Chariot and also like the 8 of Wands. Like it feels like it's very fast paced. Maybe this is something that you're trying or you recently kind of went in the direction of, which could kind of help you with your emotions and your inner child if that's what you're looking for. Whatever it is that you are passionate about, it looks like there's a lot of victory when it comes to this, because you've got the 6 of Wands upright. And it just, like, you seem like the type of person that just, like, can take something and make it something. Like, I feel like you're very, like, very fiery energy. Like, you just know you want something and you go for it. And there's no stopping you. And you know how to be the ruler in it. You know how to be good at it. You know how to do it in a way that is authentic to you. So we got the 5 of Cups reversed on the back as the energy. And this card upright just makes me think of being like very confused or shaken up emotionally. It could be also maybe, and then we've got the 8 of Wands, which is funny because I was just talking about that. You could be a person that maybe is scared of emotions. So that could also lead back to this. Maybe you're kind of shut off when it comes to this, which would explain being more in your masculine energy, because then you're going to be more like driven, like very fiery, like fast paced. So maybe you're just like really in your masculine energy right now. But yeah, I feel like emotions right now is just like a no-go for you. But it wouldn't hurt to get it out still. I think you just maybe gotta work on like balancing that, which can be really hard. Especially if you've been hurt or, you know, you've been through things. I feel like I wanna, this card is like sticking out to me really. If it wants to, this one here. 3 of Swords in reversed. Yeah. Kind of moving through like heartbreak or having your heart hurt. What's that here? Yeah. All right, let me get into the oracle now. But yeah, definitely like it's very good to have this energy when it comes to like your passions, but don't, and I can't stress this enough, but try not to burn yourself out because it's really easy to do. All right, so the first is going to be a song lyric, so that might just be confirmation to you. So this is If I'm 555, then you're 666, and that's the Heretic Anthem by Slipknot. So the song or the artist could be significant to you, but the lyric itself just makes me think like you're very original. And I think that comes, like, it reminds me of your passions as well, because I feel like the way that you do it is very unique to you. Like, you can take something that, say, like, half the population does and somehow make it unique to yourself, because that's the kind of person that you are. Like, you're good at making things tapered to exactly how you want them to be when it comes to you and your personality. And I think that's how you are so successful when it comes to this, because it feels like you just know, you know exactly what to do. Like, there's just a knowing there. All right, I'm gonna try and make this so that it's visible as well. I regard all altars with respect. I'm just gonna pull out a couple here. I said fire sign, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I always do that. Release fear. And then I've got Leo, the negative traits, but just Leo in general. And then I'll pull out this one too. So we've got hunger. Now, I might have to check. I think it's like a zombie movie, but I can't quite remember what it is right now. Okay, let me get into this. So when it comes to this here, maybe you could be spiritual yourself, like, because I feel like there's like a respect when it comes to different cultures. And there's a bird there taking flight as well. And then her pouring. It kind of makes me think of like the star as well, which comes back to like your uniqueness when it comes to your hobbies. I just feel like you know how to pour, like it's just like you know the recipe, you know exactly what to do, you know all of the ingredients. Oh my god, I know this is such a funny reference, but it's like KFC, like the chicken, like their spices or whatever. It's like nobody else knows it, but you know it. And you know how to incorporate that into your career. I just feel like you've got a really interesting mind when it comes to, well, just like everyday life, but also like your passions. It's very cool energy. Maybe you could like rock or metal, because I'm hearing Black Hole Sun as well by Soundgarden, so that could be significant too. Could be birthing like a new project as well. So we got release fear. Maybe you could have been very fearful for a long time, or maybe staying behind. I wanted to say like behind the bleachers. I don't think that's the actual saying, but that's what I wanted to say. So I just feel like, and there's also a mask on this person too. Like if you have any fears about being like who you are, I feel like, I mean, it seems like you're already letting that go in a way, but I think that maybe if you have any that are still left over, like it's just a sign to release that, because you've got the potential. Like I just feel like there's no way that you can screw this up. I just feel like it's just the way that you're wired. Like I just feel like you know how to do this. Then we've got Leo. So the negative traits of Leo are egotistical, dominating, stubborn, impatient, and self-centered. So maybe those are things that you feel like you need to work on personally. But also it could just be that you're a Leo, which is funny because I was saying like very fiery kind of energy here as well. And this could be for a certain person as well, but if you've already gained success from what you do, maybe people are like wanting to feed off of that, or maybe they want to know your secrets. Okay, I see it in two ways. I feel like if you're successful already and you make like a good amount of money, I feel like people could be asking you a lot for stuff. But at the same time too, people could also maybe like want to know how you're so bright, how you do things, and the unique way that you do it. I feel like people just want to get to, it's not that they want to get to know you, it's that they want to know what your secret is so they can be like that. Maybe that's stuff that you've had happen quite a bit, where it's like you have a lot of people watching you, and like with envy specifically is what I'm getting from that card. Yeah, I think that's what it could be. Feels very like frightening too. Maybe you're just like, I don't want to attract this attention, but it's coming anyway, just because when you've got a light like that, it just almost unfortunately naturally comes with it. All right, so we've got burning bridges, fiery chapters coming to a close. That's interesting. Then we got the wands here. So maybe this makes me think that, but this is so similar to this card in a way, where you've got people who are like watching you, almost wanting to be you. Maybe you have those people in your life who are your friends, and maybe if you've been thinking about like cutting them off, I don't think that it's a bad idea, because like when you close a door, it opens a new one, right? To people who are more supportive, as opposed to wanting to be you and to bring you down in order to be at your level, I guess. and full moon in Aries. So Aries could be significant too. There's a lot of fire signs in here. There's definitely a lot of, like, there's wands and just fire everywhere. And then Leo, of course, too. All right, so we've got rejection in reverse. We've got owl. I'll just bring these three, and then I've got the last one there too. Okay, so with rejection in reverse, maybe you've got a fear of being rejected when it comes to, maybe you've got like a plan or something and you're scared that it's gonna get rejected by someone. But I think you just gotta let that go. It's the same with, like, it's funny that I put it over the release card because it feels like it's just kind of connected, where you just have to release that fear. And then with the owl, we have wisdom, independent thinking, and enlightenment. So I feel like this is kind of where you are right now. And then they've got like a, I think that's called a blood moon, which is weird. I would definitely look that up because, and roses could be significant too, roses and thorns. But there's like the orange circle here. Then we've got like an orange moon. I think it's called a blood moon, I want to say. So maybe that could be significant. So yeah, wisdom, independent thinking, and enlightenment. So I feel like, yeah, I just feel like maybe you're meant to go through this journey without these people kind of on your back, because they might be negative influence as well. They might kind of get into your head, whereas you've got all of this wisdom and enlightenment on your own, like within yourself. Sometimes too, it feels easier when you're kind of uncertain to rely on other people to kind of give you an answer. But I think you already know, like, intuitively what the route is that you need to travel. So then we've got commune as well. So this one's very interesting. So it's kind of like the exact opposite of this energy, which reminds me of when I said, like, when you close one door, like another one opens. So I think that embracing and even manifesting that you want these people to come in and support you and almost like elevate your passions, elevate what makes you fiery and happy, instead of kind of bringing you down and wanting to kind of almost like feed at your energy. Like, it's kind of like a weird vibe. But yeah, I feel like this is very like what you're kind of bringing into your life as soon as these people are kind of pushed out. It could be that you're already trying to kind of like get that energy out of your life, and I feel like it's a good idea definitely to do so. All right, and the last card we have is regeneration. It's a very cool card, actually. Yeah, I just think that it's very like speaking on like cutting things out to transform, like the snakes. Again, there was a snake in the last one too. It's just about shedding and transforming. So as soon as something dies, like it becomes, you know, something else comes in more beautiful. As soon as something is gone out of your life, something else more beautiful comes in. And the eyes too, like, it just makes me think of these people. Like, I feel like you just got all eyes on you right now. That could be the unease in the card as well. But yeah, I think that you've got a lot of room for like regeneration and communing. Like, these two cards are very like bright in terms of the reading. It's just like all of this doesn't matter because this is what's to come. Like, you're about to have something that is very like fresh and rejuvenating. And everything that happened before is just going, you're just gonna forget about it. Like, I feel like it's important to say too that sometimes things that seem like they consume your life or are what your life revolves around, sometimes they aren't as important or as close to you as you think they are, even if in the moment it feels that way. House on the Hill. I don't know. That's like a horror. I can't remember if it's a horror series or a movie. It might be both, but that could be significant as well. I know that's not what this one is, but I should look that up. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm feeling like I should. Because maybe the movie could be significant. get it right here. Alright, bear with me. I don't do this often because I don't like to like interrupt it, I guess. Is there a number on it? No. Oh, it's right here though. Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you. Oh. And then it says to, like, I feel called to read this, but it says in the upright, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't help others. So that could also be a message that you needed to hear. But yeah, the reading is very good. There's a lot of good that's to come. I know that it can be heavy sometimes to hear like the other things, but there's definitely a lot of goodness to come from here. And keep pursuing your passions because it's what you're best at. There's no failing here for you, and even if there is, like, you can come back from it as fast as you can go down. Like, it seems like everybody has phases like that. But yeah, good luck with everything. If you chose pile 3 or the grape agate heart, then this could be for you. The grape agate reminds me of like the ocean, or even like coral in a way, so that could be significant. I feel like turning it to the back for some reason too. I don't know. So the way that I'd explain it if you didn't see it was just that it's going to be going over career and then your personal life or like self-care and then your passions and interests. And then we'll get to the oracle after. That'll kind of like give you some confirmation as well as like some guidance. So I'll get right into that. And you can skip the shuffling if you want. It shouldn't be too long. But sometimes things do come out in it, so. These kind of remind me of Alice in Wonderland, so that could be significant. Oh my goodness. In career. That one popped out too, I'm pretty sure, and so did that one, so that's funny. I'll use that to clarify that. These are definitely very interesting cards. Stamina, it says. So the Nine of Wands is usually about like, usually I see it as having like a strong barrier as well too. There's also a heart in the sky. That makes me think that maybe there's like your spirit team or something is watching over you. I'm getting the feeling too that like maybe no matter what it is that you do, like still sometimes there's backlash from it. Or maybe people aren't seeing you the way that you know you are, and they're not seeing your intentions correctly when it comes to your workplace. You could be longing for something else too. I feel like that's so common. I feel like with every pile I've kind of had like a similar kind of tinge where it's like people are wanting to break free from that like I guess stereotypical 9 to 5 and do what they love. Art could be your passion because she has that like how would you say that, she's got that like displayed. Maybe you're longing to be able to do something that brings you more passion. Well, there's also the Six of Pentacles, which says generosity, so it's usually about like giving, equal give and take as well. So I've got a piece of hair. Maybe the benefits are nice too. You could have like good benefits where you work, or there's like upsides to it. But I feel like there's a project or something, because in both of these, like she's got like like a picture or something in her hands. It's almost like there's something that you're cultivating outside of work or in work. It seems like it could be in career, but it seems like you're cultivating something that maybe you want to share. I'm hearing graphic design as well. Yeah, it could be that. It could be too just like working on something with work that maybe you're unsure of if you will do well on, and then this is just clarity that you will do well and that there will be equal give and take and balance that comes from the situation. The Six of Pentacles too is generosity, so it could be that you're getting like funding. I don't know, that's interesting. Maybe you're being recognized for your hard work and your stamina within your workplace as well. Yeah, but it definitely seems like you're longing for something that, or for being able to show off like your gifts or your talents. Maybe people are kind of seeing you the wrong way at the moment. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting, but it might clarify it more when we get into the oracle. So then we'll get into like self-care. Aries could be significant. That came, I wonder if there's like a blood moon or something coming up. I think that's what it's called when it's like orange. But in the last pile, it came out twice. So I'm like, I don't know if we've got one coming up or that's significant. But it could be. Alright, let's just clarify this. And I have it. So dependency. Which I think is actually the devil, I want to say. That's kind of what I'm perceiving it as. Anyway, maybe you're kind of been neglecting your self-care. I'm getting a feeling too that like you're not properly taking care of your wounds. It could be that you're using things such as like alcohol or things like that, distractions, to kind of make yourself feel better when you kind of need to be like addressing like these wounds that you have as well. It could be like a learned behavior as well. Maybe you're just repeating things that have happened before where you feel like maybe your self-care isn't important, or maybe it seems unattainable to you as well. I was definitely called to this one first, but yeah, I just feel like these scars or these wounds just really need attention right now. Maybe writing these down too. I know there's like a shadow work could be shadow work could be significant, but there are books that you can get that kind of give you prompts to do your shadow work, which actually I've been interested in maybe getting to. But yeah, so the Queen of Wands in reverse with determination there. Maybe you were on a journey of like self-care for a long time, and then at one point it just kind of led to this. This could be something that you've kind of always come back to as like a comfort, like I was saying, like it could be alcohol, it could be like food, like anything that you're dependent on. It seems like you do definitely have the potential in there to do that. Maybe working with like the full moon and like the new moon and like manifesting through that could also be significant as well. It might be able to help you get rid of this in a way. But there's definitely the potential there to be able to work past this energy and into one where you are yourself. You could be in Aries or have Aries or just be like very fiery. Maybe when things don't work out too, like the way that you wanted them to, like that could be a really like a big hit for you. You could be like someone that is very determined to do what they want and be successful at what they want to do, and sometimes maybe when that doesn't work out, it could be easy to fall into this because it does like really hurt you. But there's definitely potential to come out of this for sure. So I'm just gonna look at your passions and hobbies now. The Hermit. And then I'll clarify that. And the moon in reversed. And then the King of Cups at the bottom, which is Scorpio, I believe. It's a Scorpion on there as well, so that was in reverse. So the Hermit is all about, going inwards and kind of reflecting, being on your own for a while. You could be interested in like herbal things, like maybe like plants, or even I'm seeing like making jewelry could be significant for you as well. Making things just in general. Just a very earthy vibe from that as well. Hair too, because she's got, looks like she's doing her hair here, so hair could be significant. Anything like that. Maybe you feel like your hobbies or your passions are something that you kind of have to do on your own, like it's not something that you can show to other people, but at the same time it's almost like you're tired of keeping it hidden, if that makes sense. So maybe you've been working on this for a really long time, and maybe you have the belief that you can't really do much with it like in the real world, but I feel like at the same time you're kind of being tugged in a direction where you should unconceal it and let people know what it is that you do. And I think that that's for a reason. I think that you should definitely use your intuition, because it could be very rewarding for you, especially if it has anything to do with your career. If it's something that you like, there's no harm in taking a chance, because you can always pick up after you've fallen. And at the end of the day, you can always say too that you at least tried, because that's what matters. Check it is. Maybe like jewelry like that too. Maybe you like making like very niche, like cool things like that. But yeah, I feel like it has to do with making something or using your hands for sure. And then the King of Cups reversed as like the overall energy is maybe just like, that one's interesting because there's a cactus and a scorpion there. So it's almost like something that's kind of sharp, and even her facial expression is kind of like sharp. So maybe you're trying to let go of being like a sharp person. This is interesting. It almost feels like this sharpness, or maybe this quote unquote attitude, comes from a place of being like hurt, because it seems like this person is just hurt throughout all these cards. Like that's the facial expression that's there. So I feel like you're kind of working through a lot of emotions right now, and maybe processing how to deal with that before you decide to do anything when it comes to this passion of yours. Yeah. Maybe that's something that scares you too, is that you don't want to come off the wrong way. Like if you decide to do something else, or if you decide to like delve into what it is that you want to do. I feel like too, you could be keeping your cards close to yourself right now. And there's a lot of emotion behind your eyes. I feel like maybe if sometimes you feel like you are maybe like dark, or if you have like features that maybe people think that you're mad, that maybe it's just being misunderstood. I totally lost my train of thought for a second there. But I feel like your true emotion isn't within your facial expression, like it comes from your eyes, because the eyes are so significant here. I feel like just overall, like you're just over being misunderstood. So it makes it hard to kind of pick up and do better with like the other areas of your life right now. I just feel like for you right now, with everything going on, you need to focus on one thing at a time. So I'm gonna go into the Oracle now. So look at that for you. So the first one is a song lyric, so it could just be confirmation for you. Also, person coughing in the background, I don't know, that could be significant. Maybe you smoke. So the lyric is, "The stars look very different today." So Space Oddity by David Bowie, so that could be a significant song for you. But the lyric just reminds me of like having a perspective change. And it reminds me of the tower too. You could have had like a tower moment. And I feel like at the end of the day, like your heart is just longing to be understood, if that makes sense. Or you could just be in a really dark place right now and you're just looking to get out of that, or looking for guidance. It just seems like definitely very heavy for sure. The color red could suit you. Maybe that's not a color that you usually wear, but it could be something that maybe would make you feel more confident, surprisingly, even if you feel like it wouldn't. Like if it's not your color. So I'm gonna go into these now. Wait, I need to make sure that I have this upside down. I respect the property of others. It's a yes. Sagittarius compatibility. And water. That's interesting. Okay. Let me get into it. So I'll just do those 4 first and then get into the rest. So the first one is, I respect the property of others. And then there's like a moon here too. I feel like the circle is like the moon is just very important and significant when it comes to you, which could be like the water from the Scorpio and everything. And then the water here too. So I feel like I just feel like there's a deeper understanding that's coming to you right now when it comes to other people and why they are the way they are. Maybe you could be getting into like psychology and delving deeper into things that maybe you didn't understand before. It just seems like, even if it feels like everything's messed up in your life right now, it seems like you're on the right path. Like you are on the path that you need to be on in order to become who you are meant to become. And with it's a yes here too. If you came into this asking a question or wondering something, then the answer is yes. But beyond that, it's just about breaking free. Like you can tell that she's just like breaking free and being on her own and doing things the way that she's meant to, and just surrendering to things in her life. And the feathers too, it makes me think of like hope, like having hope. And also the Fool card, it kind of reminds me of taking a leap into the direction and maybe not knowing where you want to go right away, but knowing that you want something different. Then we've got Sagittarius compatibility. So Sagittarius could be significant. You could have a Sagittarius in your life. But Sagittarius gets along best with Leo, Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius. So that might be significant to you. Other than that, like, I guess we can look at the back here and see what it says. Yeah, I didn't do this with the other one, so I feel like this might be significant to read off. So a Sagittarius may think that they get on with everyone, but some signs find it difficult to make healthy relationships with them. Earth signs can be a bit frightened of their unpredictability, and water signs are a little too sensitive to deal with the brutal honesty of a Sagittarius. However, fire signs and air signs are very attracted to the passion and curiosity of these remarkable individuals, and these signs make great pairings. So maybe something in that resonated with you, maybe you see yourself in that, but I thought I'd just read that off to you. It could mean something different for everyone as well, so might as well. And then we've got the water here too, so I just feel like with the moon as well, there's a lot of depth here that's coming out. Maybe you're digging, like I'm seeing someone in a mine, like just digging for like crystals or something. Like I just feel like your curiosity is like making you dig deeper when it comes to like maybe things that have hurt you, why you do the things you do. Maybe you're just delving into like your history and why things are the way they are, like questioning reality. Like I just feel like it's a very much needed like deep dive into what it is that you need to know. I had a feeling that this card was going to come out. I kept seeing it on the box and I was like, Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to. Maybe emotions could have scared you as well in the past. And that could be why you had such a strong reaction. Like sometimes when you are scared of emotions, instead of feeling the emotions, you would rather almost react in a negative way. Like for example, like in order to kind of ignore these, you would kind of lash out instead of dealing with them in a way. Because it's almost too painful to have to deal with the emotions. But I feel like now you're just ready to acknowledge it all and face it all and just conquer it. I think that's where you are right now. I feel like you've lived too long without paying attention to yourself and paying attention to you and what makes you you and what hurts you and what, who you are, what your core beliefs are. That kind of thing. It'll make sense to the right people. So Mercury opposite Uranus. So then we've got unrealistic pursuits, rushing into things, and tactless. Maybe there's something. I also get kind of like a relationship vibe from this pile. Like it seemed like it was gonna be more of like a relationship kind of reading. So maybe that could be significant to you if you were wondering if maybe that's kind of what you were asking about. This could have to do with that. Maybe you rushed into like a situation or a relationship, and maybe you need to take a step back from that right now and acknowledge what it is, like the pros and cons essentially. That might be important right now. Just sitting back, like I just think you just need to be alone right now. Like go into this hermit mode and just be alone and really figure things out. And try not to distract yourself. I just feel like you really need even if just a day, to kind of just figure things out and deep dive into things. I feel like it'll feed your soul. Sadness in reverse. I think you're letting go of this. Like, I think that this is coming out to the surface. It kind of goes along with this. Like, I think that it's just all coming up right now, and things that you didn't realize are coming out right now. Like, it just seems like the moon and everything. Like, everything is coming to light all at once. Could be karma too as well. Karma could all be coming at once, and it's like just one thing after the other. I know that, I guess it depends on when you're watching this, but I think we had a Cancer full moon before we went to 2024. And then there was one that was all about like serving karma and karma being served. And in my life, it was definitely one thing after the other. So that could resonate for you as well. So we got Wayfarer. So this is contemplation, search for truth, and inner guidance, which is exactly what I was kind of getting at here. So like kind of going, so this is similar to the Hermit as well. Going inwards to find your answers, to find the light as well. I'm hearing a song, but I can't figure out what it is. Shows happiness unraveled. What is that song? The path less traveled shows happiness unraveled. I don't know, that could be significant. I can't remember what song that is right now, but it was definitely coming up, so maybe that was significant. But yeah, definitely needed a deep dive here. Nourish as well. So I think where you really need to come and align is when it comes to nourishing yourself. Like, eat things that feel good to you. Read things that feed yourself, like, in your soul, instead of, like, for example, like the news or like Facebook, like stuff like that. Instead of reading that and almost adding a negative aspect into your life, start reading like books on things that interest you. Maybe too, like herbs and going outside and stuff like that is interesting to you too. it almost looks like the Ace of Cups as well. So I feel like when you start to nourish yourself is when your emotions will start to flood out naturally. Like, they'll just go naturally. Usually the Ace of Cups is like very much like a bursting, like, you know, sometimes they say that it's like a love offer, but I feel like this is very much like a self-love thing, where as opposed to emotions kind of taking over and kind of ruining your mindset sometimes, I think that this is a good way to kind of let those emotions seep out seamlessly. And that's what it means, like, especially when it comes to like self-care. I think that that's the way to go. All right, and the Storm. I feel like when it comes to your heart space, I just feel like you've been hurt a lot in ways that maybe you don't even realize. But the Storm coming out just makes me feel like you've got a lot of, like, it reminds me of Eeyore with the rain cloud. I just feel like there's always something that triggers you in a way, or like there's a lot of things that do trigger you. You could also be an empath. You could have been born into like a family that was very much different from you. And that in itself could be a trauma, because maybe they didn't understand you or they didn't get you. And I feel like maybe that's where it kind of started. And then maybe you kind of started to block off those emotions and resorted to like dependency on things to kind of push it down more. But I think now, like, the universe is just pushing you to, to heal those wounds. And especially to care for yourself, because that's the best way that you can do it. And whether or not, like, I feel like this is significant to say, whether or not you grew up with people that didn't understand you or not, there will be people that you come across in your life that will understand you. Even sometimes people that you don't expect as well. There will be people. They are definitely few and far between, but there will be people who see your heart for what it is. And I feel like I want to cry just saying that, but there will be people out there that will see you for who you are, even if everyone else in the world has a different perception. Like, there will be people who see your true intentions and your kindness. So that's the reading. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you find the answers that you're searching for. I have a feeling you will, and really do take the time to nurture yourself, because it's the best way that you can deal with having a stormy, kind of broken heart. So yeah, but it seems like you have the potential to do this, and I think that you will get through it. So good luck with everything.